For the love of everything holy, I have some of the dumbest fucking trolls on any social media platform anywhere. I did a video talking about red state versus blue state GDP. And somebody was talking about how all of the blue states should be thrown out of the country, all of the liberals should be thrown out of the country. And I said, well, then who's going to generate all of the GDP to prop up all the money to prop up all of the red states? Enter one of my dumbest fucking trolls.
If you got rid of all the liberals, who would generate all the money to prop up all the red states?
You know, he brings up a very interesting point there. The federal funding for red states is astronomical. The federal funding for red states is $10.6 trillion a year. We had to have a lot of help in these red states to the tune of, like I said, over $10 trillion a year. I mean, it ain't like the blue states. Blue states' federal funding only equates out to $11.6 trillion a year. Just say.
So, I don't know if his numbers are accurate. We'll just use his numbers for the sake of this video. 10 trillion, 11 trillion. Who the fuck knows if they're accurate? It doesn't even fucking matter for the purposes of this video. What he's trying to tell you is that red states take X amount of money and blue states take X amount of money. That they're damn near even, but the blue states take ever so slightly more than the red states take. But he missed the point of the video, as usual. The point of the video is, where is the GDP generated? You're talking about where it's dispersed. Where is it made? You're talking about blue states and red states taking about the same amount of money. Are they the same in population and GDP generated? Of course not. But you're not going to show that because that doesn't fit your fucking narrative. Another thing that you don't show is how reliant each state is on that federal money. So let's start there. The states that are the most reliant on federal aid. In other words, the states that need it the most. Here's your top 10. New Mexico, admittedly a blue state. West Virginia, red. Alaska, red. Mississippi, red. D.C., which isn't a state, but is still in there, blue. The rest, all the way down to number 10, red, with the exception of Maine. Seems like a lot of red states are awfully fucking reliant on their federal dollars. In fact, red states lead with federal dependency. In 2022, wealthier, Democratic-leaning blue states paid more into the federal government than they received, in contrast to the less wealthy, Republican-leaning red states, which received more in federal funds than they contributed. And there's the part you fucking forget. You talk about where the money goes, but you don't talk about where the money is made. It would be like, for example, me and my neighbor living on this side of the street, and we're the blue states, and you and your neighbor living across the street, and you're the red states. And you guys each generate $50,000 a year in income, but you each spend $150,000 a year. So you're generating a $200,000 a year deficit that needs to be made up somewhere. Meanwhile, over here, we're generating $200,000 in income each, and we're only getting back $75,000 because the rest of the money's got to go to you in order for you to be able to survive. Does that help you understand it now? Now let's talk about the states and their economy. Visualizing America's $29 trillion economy by state. The states that have the largest economy, the states that produce the most GDP, number 1, California, number 2, Texas. Those are our two largest states, followed by our next two largest states, New York and Florida. You have 2 blue states and 2 red states in the top 4. Then we go blue, blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, blue, blue, purple, blue. These are the biggest economies, most of the money being made in a lot of blue states. Here you can see a per capita GDP for states in the United States of America. This is how much GDP each one of these states generates per citizen in their state. You can see here, at the top of the list, blue, 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 red, blue, red, blue, blue, blue. That's the top. Here's the other end of that graph, the worst states, the lowest economies, starting from the bottom, working our way up. Red state, 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 red state. Not until you get to New Mexico do you see a blue state. You see a fucking pattern? So, once again, I know you thought you did something there, but what you did was prove my fucking point. You showed that the red states and blue states are taking federal funds on about the same level from a dollar amount. Blue states are taking ever so slightly more, but blue states have infinitely more people and generate infinitely more GDP. So why is the distribution that even? Why is it that close to level? If the red states aren't producing any of the fucking revenue, if the red states don't have many of the fucking people, with the exception of Texas and Florida, of course. You're showing that the blue state, or that the blue states and the red states are taking roughly the same amount of federal funding, while ignoring the fact that, once again, the blue states is where it's fucking made. Yeah, you got a point there. Make another reply video in your pickup truck, Jethro.